Hi everyone, in front of me I have the Bloodborne Figma Hunter. So it's the Hunter from the PS4 game Bloodborne, and it comes with a few small optional parts and hands, but not too much to go into for this one. So with all Figmas, they come with a stand. There's no claw piece attachment, it's just this little bit that's already attached to it, and then you can tighten the screws to tighten up the points in the shaft if you want to. You're probably going to need this stand for a few of the poses that he needs to be, or that you want to get him into, because the blade can be a bit heavy on the hand. So I'm going to go through the hands first, and then the figure, and then these parts, and then the figure. So the hands, and as always with Figmas, you get this cool little accessory holding piece that holds all the hands together. That something like SH figures don't include, but it's always a good thing to have these. So you get a spare wrist ball joint, which is useful to have now, which I'll get into for this particular figure, because I do have a small nitpick with this one. Probably not a small nitpick, more of a genuine one. But then for the hands, kind of move the figure out of the way so you can see the hands clearly. So the hands you get are going to be the two fists that are already attached to the figure, and then you get this one, which is for holding the gun, and then you get two of those so you can hold the gun in his left or right hand. This one, which is an open palm, a pair of those. This pair, which is more to hold the sword blade thing that he's got on him. I forgot the name now, it escapes me now. Hopefully I'll remember when I go to that. To get those to hold in either hand. My one on the right hand was a bit too loose. You might actually be able to see that one's a bit more open than the other. It's not just the angle, but yeah, my right hand was a bit loose on that one. And then finally, the other pair of hands is actually, I don't find much use in this. Yeah, I mean, if you want to make a customized whip or something, then I guess that will fit into here. But for me personally, these, it's good to have, I guess, but I don't really have a use for them. So I'll show you how to change those in a moment. Onto then the weapons. So he comes with the Hunter Blunderbuss, I think this is. I don't really remember the Bloodborne weapon names, just it was a Hunter pistol to me, but it's not exactly the right thing. But yeah, so this is the one of the guns that you get, and the only gun that you get with him. This is the main one that was usually shown in a lot of the promo artwork. I didn't really stick to the promo stuff, artwork or guidance when it came to playing the game. I used the whip, and actually it might have been this pistol. I forget, I'll have to look at it. But I used a Lady Hunter. Anyway, so this is the gun, and it looks quite good. So the detailing on it is really nice. It's a nice brown color, wood effect on the barrel over here. Sorry if the light's too bad, but yeah, it's a nice wood effect. And the detailing is all like Victorian themed, and yeah, a bit kind of old wraps around here. So it looks good. And then this one is the I forgot the name of it. Hunter Killer Blade, Beast Killer, not the Beast Killer. I forgot the exact name, but it's the default one that you'd see in, again, the promo art. So it does extend outwards. It just comes like this, and then you just have to extend it outwards. I wasn't sure if that was going to be the case, but luckily it does. So you got the wraps around there and around the blade, the whole edging here. It's not overly sharp, but it might catch on some threads if you've got some random woolly jumpers lying around. And then it wraps around the handle. So it's not. So when you put the hand on here, around here is probably, let's zoom that in properly. So around this area is probably where you want to have the hand gripping, because it's slightly thicker here. Around here, not so much, but I'll show you that and apply the hand. So I will use the right hand for this one. Yep, the right hand. And then you'll see that it's a bit loose. So here it's not too bad. The left hand actually is just so much better on here, but otherwise yeah, it just kind of loosens up a lot. I'm not putting a lot of effort on here, it just loosens up quite a lot. So when you do attach it to the figure itself, so you see it's almost falling off right here. So when I do attach it to the figure, it was kind of hard to get it posed right, to take some pictures and things like that. So keep that in mind. Even my peg was quite loose, so I'll get into that in a minute. So here's the figure itself. So this is the male hunter, and in his usual costume that, again, you'll see in all the promo art. Personally, I think it's slightly more lighter brown, but that might just be actually the correct coloring and Pantones are used on the figure, but because of the game using whatever post-processing effects and whatnot, it just looks darker in the game. But once you get it in like a decent dim lighting, it actually looks really good. The detailing is quite good. It's just the color that I was slightly concerned about, skeptical a little bit about. So here you go. So he's got his hat on. Try and move the light actually. Sorry, let's get a bit better. There we go. So his hat does not come off. He has no alternate faces or anything like that. So you can see his eyes very briefly there. Let's try and get a better shot. Yeah. They're not too bad. I mean, not really going to see them once you've got this figure posed. It's very hard to kind of see his eyes because the hat kind of gives that shadow there. And it's a deliberate thing. It looks good anyway. And he's got the grey hair. And the kind of torn edging on the top of the hat. And his muffler scarf is a thin plastic. It looks good, so when he looks down, it automatically goes into the muffler scarf itself, so it looks really, really good. Quite natural looking. And of course, when you pull his head back up, it will kind of release it from the scarf, so it looks good. And he's got the belt around his torso that wraps all the way around. He's got the hole here for the stand to plug into. And then more belts down to the light brown pants. And then the detailing on his boots, similar to his gauntlets, which I just totally glossed over, or didn't even show you. Yeah, gauntlet ones have the gold detailing on top of the brown. And then, yeah, down to his feet. Not much to do on his soles. Here it's soft plastic. And it's, as you see here, it's hinged at the bottom with the two flaps for his coat. And then, oh my goodness, it's like a wolf must have bitten a chunk out of his butt. So, yeah, that kind of is all hinged and whatnot to give it that extra bit of articulation. I mean, the coat flaps are going to be left down, so you're not going to notice it. But yeah, when I saw it first, I was like, well, okay, wasn't quite expecting that. But yeah, so this is the figure there. He's got his pouches, which flap up. So I was just kind of reposing this figure, and at the leg it came off on the ball joint, which can happen, but because of the pouch and it kind of hitting the pouch as it came off, it actually removed the pouch from the waist there. So be careful of that. It's not that strong here. They are just thin plastic straps. I can probably glue mine in, back in. You know, it might not be perfect. You'll still see some rough edging around it after I kind of just placed it back. But because I'm looking at it closely, that's why I can be a bit more picky. But further out, you're probably not going to notice it. Not just that though, the pouch itself, there's a longer bit here. That also came off. So as you can see, there's a bit of a, not a peg, but something that holds this there. So let's try to put that back on. I will have to glue this one too. I don't want to put too much force onto the pouch right now, because it's only dangling by one strap pretty much. So yeah, just roughly placing it there. I can probably use some glue to place that back on. That one looks okay even there, so it should not be too noticeable. So right now I just need to be more careful with the pouch, because like I said, it's only on that one strap. So if you do have this figure and you're going to pose it quite a bit or whatever, just keep in mind that this is quite sensitive, so don't knock it if you can. And yeah, that's most of the detail on the figure itself. It looks pretty good overall. Lots of good detailing on it. Lots of weathering effect on the coat. Again, at the bottom, I'll show you that. It's kind of draping along and just all weathered there. So it's all quite good looking. Let's go with the articulation then. So you can look upwards, not too much because of the collar, raised collar of his jacket. You can look down, and like I said, that goes into the muffler there. You can tilt his head a little bit. It might be the hinge is a bit stuck, the ball joint is a bit stuck on mine, so you might need to reset that a little bit to kind of get it to go left and right more properly. And then you can look left and right too. Arms then, he can twist his arms around. He can't pull his arms in front of him a great deal because of the coat, so that's a bit of a shame. And then he can bend his elbow there. You can twist this around, but you're just going to have to kind of mess around with the ball joint to get it reset so you can bend it properly again, otherwise the gauntlets kind of get stuck. But yeah, he can twist that around, and then his wrists, and they go up and down. So my right wrist, with the fist actually, it's not too bad. So when I take the fist off, and then I put it back on, you'll hear the click, hopefully. There, you hear the click. But when I use the right hand here, I have an issue with that, where it just doesn't really do it properly. You might end up doing it now, no my luck. Yeah, there's no click to it, so it's quite loose. So when I have that hand equipped with this blade, it's quite heavy and it's quite loose, because yeah, it's just kind of poor maybe I should try the replacement joint, but I'm not going to bother with that. But maybe if you have that, just let me know if you have that too. Then yeah, for his rest of his articulation, then so his torso, he can crunch like so, bend backwards, twist, upper twist, lower twist, and then the legs, he can kick up, pull them aside for the splits, and then the knee, like so. You can twist there in the upper thigh area, and then the ankle moves up and down, rotates, and the toe. So all in all, pretty good overall. There is this slight twist that you can do at the knee. It's just on a peg, so you could do that. My left one, with the left leg on my figure, is slightly looser, so it can happen a bit easier. I don't think it's really supposed to happen, but it does. And then on the right one, it's not as loose, but it can still happen as well. So if you've got a certain pose that you want him in and it just looks weird, then just twist it a little bit and it should look fine. There you hear the click, so it clicks back into place. And of course, yeah, the flaps that went on, as mentioned earlier as well. So you see the big gash in his butt, but that will that can go upwards to if you're doing a jumping pose or something like that and you want them to flap up. These are a bit heavy though, so they will kind of force him to lean back a little bit, but it's not a huge amount. And again, you need the stand in certain cases to prop the guy up, because then with this equipped and the gun equipped, and then these are kind of heavy, he will not balance that weight that great and will just fall over. So that's the articulation on that figure. It does look good. I'm going to show you the gun now, how to swap that, put the hand on and put that onto the figure. So this one is going to be the left hand. Again, you get a pair of each, so you could just do it on the other hand if you wanted to, but I'm just going to do it for the left hand. So it's that simple. Just put it in. Mine are kind of loose. If yours are too loose, maybe what I need to do with this one is actually reheat it and then kind of gently squeeze it together and let it kind of cool down that way. But yeah, so take this off. You can use any order you want. You can put the hand on first if you want to, or you can put did it how I did. So yeah, there we go. Didn't hear the click, but hopefully it's on there. And then yeah, he's holding his gun and it looks pretty good. And then similarly for the right hand. So I'm going to put the hand on first. Remember, this is a hand that I have an issue with. So it's on, hopefully. And then I'll put that on. Like so. So there you can kind of see it's a bit loose. I'm not touching it like with a whole amount of force. But you'll start seeing, I'll try and get it into pose there. It's kind of loosening up there. Let's try and get him into a pose then, and then you might see that it falls off. If not, then just trust me on it. My one is loose, and it's slightly annoying. But hey ho. So let's get him to stand. Let's get it extended then. So it hasn't fallen off, thankfully, I guess. But yeah, so he can stand okay in a pose like that. But if you're gonna get him into like a pose where he's swiping the sword, or yeah, swiping the sword is the main one, then yeah, he's gonna probably tip over a little bit. If you're really careful with it, then it might still work. But generally, the stand is quite useful to have with this figure. Oh, there we go. But that's only because I twisted it. There you'll see, loosens up and then it falls out. But the left hand wasn't, that bad. So maybe I'll just have to swap hands for my figure. But let me know if you did have that issue anyway, or any other issue, because I know some Figmas these days, the joints are quite tiny. Like here, look, it's quite tiny. So maybe yours snapped. Hopefully it didn't. But any other issue, just leave a comment below. Anyway, thanks for watching. This is the Bloodborne Hunter figure. Hopefully they'll kind of do an upgrade pack or something with new weapons, because actually I didn't use this when I played through the game. I didn't use this one more than like 5 minutes. I used the cane that converted into a whip. That was my go-to weapon. So hopefully they do like an extended pack with different, and with all the other weapons basically, because I know with the gecko statue you can buy the statue of the male hunter with basically these two, and then now they're releasing upgrade packs where you can buy another gun and another weapon for that figure, and it's not you rebuying an entire figure. So hopefully Figma can do the same thing here. I don't know if they're going to do a Good Smile Company. I don't know if Good Smile Company are going to do an Nendoroid on this, because they typically do both. but so far nothing yet. But if you do like Bloodborne and you're a big fan of the game, then this is a good figure, I think. But like I said, you only get limited weapons, so if you didn't play it with this weapon, then you might feel that it's not worth it to you. Overall, though, I do think it's a solid figure, and it looks quite nice, and it would be good on your display piece, because just general attire and everything, it's got that whole old Victorian-looking horror vibe that Bloodborne nailed so well. So thanks for watching. Check out my channel for more videos on other figures, and I'll leave it there for now. See you later.